morning, children. Welcome to your I Learn English Literature class. We are going to start a new chapter today, which is chapter number 2, Scout Saves the Day in your textbooks. Okay, I'll give you a brief introduction of the chapter first. So this extract in your book has been taken from a very famous novel. The name of the novel is To Kill a Mockingbird. And it is a novel which is very widely read even today, and it is a very, very good popular novel, and it is one of the classics, you can say, of modern era. And this novel, To Kill a Mockingbird, has been written by Harper Lee. This novel has been set in America. And in those days, although it is set in the 1930s in America, but even in those days, a lot of racial discrimination against the blacks has been going on in America. All of you must be aware that some Africans stay in America and they were not treated properly by the whites living over there. Okay, so this in olden times in America, Africans were made slaves. Okay. And even though in the 1930s, when this novel is set, the policy of slavery of the blacks had come to an end. But even then, people did not treat the blacks very well. Any crime that had been committed was blamed on a black person. And even if the crime had been committed by the black person or not, he was punished. He was always held guilty. So basically, it is about the racial discrimination faced by the blacks in those days in America. Okay, so this story is about a lawyer and his family. The name of the lawyer is Atticus Finch. So Atticus Finch is a lawyer. He is a very well-respected, well-renowned lawyer, and he has a 9-year-old daughter, Scout, and a son called Jem. So these two children live with their father, and Atticus Finch has taken up the case of a black man called Tom Robinson. Tom Robinson is a black who was falsely accused in one of these crimes, and Atticus Finch decided to fight his case. So some white men did not like it. They did not like that Atticus Finch was a white man and he was defending the case of a black man, Tom Robinson. And therefore, all of them came to where Atticus was protecting Tom Robinson in a jail. In front of the jail, Tom Robinson had been kept in a prison, and Atticus Finch was trying to protect him from these white men, and he had also settled down in front of the jail. So these white men, how they come and how they had come to harm Tom Robinson, but somehow Scout and Jem and their friend Dill managed to reach the prison, and how Scout, the 9-year-old girl, saves the day. That is what the title is. Scout saves the day. For her father, she manages to save not only Tom Robinson, but also her father from probable harm by her innocence. Okay, so this is about how, this is just one extract taken from the entire novel, which tells us how Scout manages to save Tom Robinson as well as her father from this group of white men who had obviously come to harm Tom Robinson as well as Atticus Finch. Okay, so this is how the novel, the extract from is all about. This extract which has been taken from the novel in your book is all about. Okay, so let me share the screen and we will read the chapter. Can you all see the screen? Okay. Harper Lee's novel To Kill a Mockingbird is set in the early 1930s in a fictional town of Maycomb in the southern state of Alabama, USA. Now, Maycomb is a fictional town, means there is no such town as Maycomb in America. It has been made up by the author. Okay, this town has been made up by the author. The plot is shared through the eyes of the narrator, Scout Finch, a 9-year-old girl. So this plot means the story has been shared through the eyes of the narrator. Who is the narrator of the story here? Scout Finch, a 9-year-old girl. Although the slavery of blacks had ended in the USA in 1865, however, racial inequality was still widespread in the 1930s, with policies of segregation of black people enforced across its southern states. That means although the system of slavery of blacks had ended in the US in 1865, but however, the blacks still faced racial inequality in the 1930s, okay? Because black people were always treated unequally in the country. Black people were victims of horrific prejudice and discrimination. Prejudice means that you form an opinion about people which is not based on any reason. You just form an opinion. Like here, they had this opinion that black people were all criminals, were all bad, they were not honest. So this was a prejudice in the minds of the white people about the blacks. So they always faced discrimination. They faced terrible violence and mistreatment at the hands of white people. So the white people even beat up the black. Always they used to beat up these black people, okay? And could not depend on the police or courts to protect them. And not even the police or the courts used to protect them, as they were often assumed to be guilty once they had been accused of a crime. So whenever a black person was accused of a crime, the black person was always sentenced to prison or was always convicted, because the courts and police also had a prejudice against them. They also thought that if a crime has been committed and a black person has been accused, he must have committed that crime. Okay. So Scout's father, Atticus Finch, was a well-respected lawyer who was defending a case of Tom Robinson, who, being a black person, had been falsely accused in a serious crime. So as I told you, Atticus Finch was Scout's father. He was a very well-renowned lawyer, and he had decided to defend the case of a black man, Tom Robinson, because Tom had also been falsely accused in a very serious crime, and he wanted to protect Tom. A few white men wanted to harm Tom and were angry that Atticus Finch had taken up Tom's case. So these white men were very angry with Atticus Finch that he had taken up the case of a black person and was trying to protect him. This extract is one of the most dramatic scenes in the book. This extract, which has been included in your textbook, is one of the most dramatic scenes in this book, where Scout interrupts a confrontation between her father, Atticus, and a few white men. So Scout manages in this extract, which you are going to read, Scout manages to interrupt or to, she manages to stop a big confrontation between her father and these white men who wished to harm Tom Robinson. They had come with the intention of harming Tom Robinson, and how Scout manages to stop this confrontation from happening. This extract allows us to see how the adults around Scout feel embarrassed by her innocence and leave without harming Tom. So this extract helps us in seeing that how the adults who had actually come to harm Tom Robinson, their intentions were not good, but Scout's innocence embarrasses all of them and they leave ultimately without harming Tom. The other characters in the story are Scout's elder brother Jim and their friend Dill. So I told you Scout had an elder brother Jim and they had a friend Dill. So you can see the characters here. Scout Finch is the girl. She's the daughter of Atticus Finch, the lawyer. Then there is Jem, who is Scout's elder brother. Then Dill is the friend of Scout and Jem, and Tom Robinson is the black person who has been accused falsely of a crime. So can I have someone, Yashi Kesarwani, can you read from here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, read.
As we walked up the sidewalk, we saw a solitary light burning in the distance. That's funny, said Jim. The jail doesn't have an outside light.
Okay, solitary means single. So as we walked up the sidewalk, we means Jem, Scout, and Dill. They were walking up the sideway. They saw a single light burning in the distance. And Jem said that this is funny because they were passing the jail and the jail did not have a light on the outside. Yes, yes, she continue.
Looks like it's over the door, said Dill. A long extension cord ran between the bars of a second floor window and down the side of the jail building. In the light from its bare bulb, Atticus was sitting propped against the front door. He was sitting in one of his office chairs and was reading, oblivious of the night bugs dancing over his head.
Yes.
I
So
made to
Dill,
run.
just a minute. Dill pointed out that look, I think the light is coming from over the door. I think there is a light just above the door of the jail. So a long extension cord, you know, when we want to extend, we need a light somewhere where there is no point, electric point. We use an extension cord. So this extension cord had been used by Atticus Finch to um, have a light outside the jail door, to hang a light outside the jail door. And from the second floor window, the long extension cord had been used outside the jail building to have a light there. In the light from its bare bulb means only a single bulb. Atticus was sitting, propped means leaning against the front door. He was sitting in one of his office chairs and he was reading. Oblivious means ignorant of the night bugs dancing over his head. Night bugs are small insects. They were dancing over his head, but he was quietly reading, ignorant of these night bugs. Yes, continue.
I made to run, but Jem caught me. Don't go to him, he said. He might not like it. He's all right. Let's go home. I just wanted to see where he was. We were
Yes,
taking a
I made to
shortcut
run means,
across the square.
excuse me, Yashi. I made to run
Yes.
means Scout, when she saw her father, she wanted to rush to him. She wanted to run to him, but Jem caught her. He said, "Don't go to him just now. He might not like it. He might not like that they were at this time of night. They had come to the jail." So he said, "He's all right. We had just come to see whether he's all right or not. Since he's all right, let us go home. I just wanted to know where the father was. The children had come to see how the father was and where he was." He said, "Now that we have seen that he's all right, let's go home." Yes, continue.
We were taking a shortcut across the square when four dusty cars came in from the Meridian Highway, moving slowly in a line. They went around the square, past the bank building, and stopped in front of the jail.
Okay. So they were going back, they were taking a shortcut back home when they saw four cars, which were dusty, come in from the Meridian Highway. That is the name of the highway. And they were moving very slowly in a line, these four cars. And these cars went around the square and they passed the bank building and they stopped right in front of the jail, these four cars. Okay, Divyanshi, can you read? Divyanshi Thapar?
Yes,
Yes.
nobody got out. Nobody got out. We saw Atticus look up from his newspaper. He closed it, folded it deliberately, dropped it in his lap, and pushed his hat to the back of his head. He seemed to be expecting them. "Come on," whispered Jem. We streaked across the square, across the street. until we were in the shelter of the Disney jungle door. Jim peeked up the sidewalk. The
Okay,
camera
let me
closer.
explain till here. Nobody got out. That means nobody got out of the car at first. So they saw Atticus. He came to know that somebody had stopped in front of the jail door, and Atticus looked up from his newspaper, which he was reading. He closed the newspaper, folded it deliberately, means purposely, slowly. He closed the newspaper, dropped the newspaper in his lap, and pushed his hat to the back of his head. He seemed to be expecting them. That means he knew that somebody would come. That is why he was guarding the jail door, because he knew that somebody would come to harm Tom Robinson. That is why he was sitting there in front of the jail door pretending to read, but he was actually trying to guard Tom Robinson from any harm. So there, these children also came to know that his father was expecting these people to come. Yes, Divyanshi.
He ran to Tyndall's hardware door near enough, at the same time discreet. In ones and twos, men got out of the cars. Shadows became substance as light revealed solid shapes moving towards the jail door. Atticus remained where he was. The men hid him from view.
Okay, wait,
He in
wait,
there.
wait, wait. Okay. We streaked across means we ran across the square, across the street. These children were planning to go back home, but when they saw these dusty cars and men come in these dusty cars, they ran back. They ran back across the square, across the street, until they reached the shelter of a Jitney Jungle door. Jitney Jungle was the name of a shop. It is the name of a shop. Jem peeked up the sidewalk means Jem looked up from the sidewalk. He said, "We can get closer." He ran to Tyndall's hardware door, near enough at the same time discreet. So they tried to get closer to watch everything from very close. So they ran to another shop, which was the Tyndall's hardware door, and which was close enough for them to see everything, and yet they could remain hidden. Discreet means hidden from view. In ones and twos, that means one by one or two at a time, these men got out of the cars. Shadows became substance as light revealed solid shapes moving towards the jail door. Shadows became substance because when they were coming out, they were in darkness. Okay, so only shadows could be seen. But as soon as they walked into the light in front of Atticus, there was light at this door. They started revealing these shadows started having a shape, getting a shape, because then they were visible in the light. Okay, previously they looked like shadows, all dark men, but then slowly these shadows, when they came near Atticus, nearer the light, they got some shape. Atticus remained where he was. The men hid him from view. So Atticus remained where he was sitting, and these men gathered around him, so he was hidden from view. Yes, Divyanshi.
He is. We heard Atticus answer, and he's asleep. Don't wake him up. In obedience to my father, there followed what I later realized a strikingly comic aspect of an unfunny situation. The men talked in near whispers.
Okay,
You know
quiet.
what we want.
Wait till here. Okay. Then one of the men asked Atticus, "He in there, Mr. Finch?" He refers to whom? Tom Robinson. So they asked Atticus Finch whether Tom Robinson was inside. Atticus said, "Yes, he is. He is inside there. And he's asleep. Don't wake him up." He told them that, yes, the prisoner is inside and he is sleeping. Don't wake him up. In obedience to my father, as if they had, see, read the line, then I'll read the line, then I'll tell you what it means. In obedience to my father, there followed what I later realized a sickeningly comic aspect of an unfunny situation. The men talked in near whispers. So they had actually come to harm Tom Robinson. But when Atticus told them that, yes, the prisoner is sleeping, don't wake him up, they obediently followed what Atticus said, and they started talking in whispers. So Scout is saying that she later realized that this was such a funny aspect of not such a funny situation. Unfunny situation means this was not a funny situation because everyone knew that they had not come with good intentions. And when Atticus told them that yes, the prisoner is sleeping and so don't wake him up, they started speaking in whispers as if they had already come to harm him. And they listened to Atticus and started talking in whispers so that he does not wake up. So this was quite a funny aspect of not a very funny situation. Okay, this is the meaning. That see, although they had come to harm Tom Robinson, and when Atticus told them, don't wake him up, they started talking in whispers. Okay, so that he does not wake up. So this was a funny aspect, comic aspect of not such a funny situation. Okay, I want someone else to read. Sanya, raise your hand, those who want to read, so that I can see. Arav can read, if you can see.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, read.
You know what he want, another man said. Get aside from the door, Mr. Finch. You can turn around and go home again, Walter, Atticus said pleasantly. Sheriff Heck teats around somewhere. The hell he is, said another man. Sheriff Heck's burns so deep in the woods they won't get out till morning.
Okay, wait.
Indeed.
Wait.
Why so?
Wait, Arav. You know what we want. So these men started talking in whispers to Atticus Finch, and they told him that one man told him that you know what we want. So get aside from the door and let us go. You know that we've come for Tom Robinson, and you must get aside means leave us, let us go in. You can turn around and go home again, Walter. Atticus told them that, Walter, you can turn around. One of the men he must have recognized, Atticus must have recognized, he told him that you can turn around and go home. I think Sheriff Hectate's around somewhere. Sheriff Hectate was the chief of police. So he said the police man, Hectate, is around here somewhere and he is not going to like it. You can go back home again. So another man said, the hell he is. The hell he is means he is not around. Don't fool us. Sheriff Heck's bunches so deep in the woods, they won't get out till morning. Sheriff Heck's bunch means the entire police force has gone so deep in the woods means forest. They won't come out from there till morning. Okay, so these men had already made sure that the police was not around. They had already sent the police on some wild goose chase into the woods, and they were sure that the police won't get here until morning. Yes. Yes, Arav.
Indeed, why so? Call am off on a sniper hunt, was the
succinct answer.
Didn't you think that Mr. Finch thought about it, but didn't believe it? Well then, my father's voice was still the same. That changes things, doesn't it?
Okay,
it do.
Wait.
Another deep pause said.
Again, they told him that the police won't be around here. Okay. So Atticus Finch asked them, indeed, why so? Why do you think that the police won't come out till morning, wouldn't get here till morning? So another one gave an answer that called them off on a snipe hunt. That means we have sent them away on a wild goose chase. Snipe hunt means a wild goose chase. That means they have been sent by us on a chase which will lead them to nothing. We have sent them off on a kind of wild goose chase where they are going to find nothing, and yet they will not come back till morning. We have sent them. Succinct means a short, a brief answer. So didn't you think of that, Mr. Finch? That means, didn't you think about that, Mr. Finch? You thought we were fools. We had come here just like that. We have already sent these men on a wild goose chase. The police won't be here. Okay. Thought about it, but didn't believe it. Mr. Finch said, yes, I had thought about it, but I did not believe that it is true. Well, then, my father's voice was still the same. So his voice was as before. He was not scared at all, even after knowing that the police was not going to come to help him out, and there were so many white men around him, and they had come to harm Tom Robinson, and it was impossible for him to fight these men alone. But his voice did not change, and he said, does that change things? He asked them sarcastically, so what if the police will not be able to come here? That doesn't change anything. I'm not going to move from here, and I'm not going to allow you to take away Tom Robinson. Okay, someone else, please read. Let me see the hands. Khushi can read. Yes, Khushi.
Yes, ma'am. It do, another deep voice said. Its owner was a shadow. Do you really think so? This was the second time I heard Atticus ask that question in 2 days, and it meant somebody's man would get jumped. This was too good to miss. I broke away from Jem and ran as fast as I could to Atticus.
Okay,
Jem
now
shrieked and tried.
Okay. So it do. When Atticus asked the men that, do you really think anything's going to change if the police is not going to be here? Then a voice, again another deep voice, whose owner was a shadow, because Scout could not see. This story is being told from the point of view of Scout. So from a distance, Scout could not see who was speaking. She could not clearly see the people. She could only see a shadow, another shadow speak, and the shadow said, it do. That means these are speaking in the local language. Okay, so this is not, they are not speaking in proper grammar, because they are local people. It do here means it does. When Atticus asked them that, does that change anything? They said, yes, it does. One of them said, yes, it does change things. So Atticus again asked them, do you really think so? And why have I circled this? Because this was the second time Scout had heard Atticus ask that question in 2 days. That means in the last 2 days, Atticus had uttered these words twice. Do you really think so? And Scout knew that when her father asked such a question, it meant that somebody was going to get into trouble. Somebody's man would get jumped means somebody was going to get into deep trouble. She thought that she had heard Atticus ask this question twice in 2 days, and this always meant that somebody was going to get into deep trouble. This was too good to miss. So Scout was a small 9-year-old girl, and she thought that this was going to be exciting. Somebody was going to get into trouble. I broke away from Jem. So she just ran away, leaving her brother Jem, and she ran as fast as she could to Atticus. Yes, Khushi.
Jem shrieked and tried to catch me, but I had a lead on him and did. I pushed my way through dark, smelly bodies and burst into the circle of light. Hey, Atticus, I thought he would have a fine surprise, but his face filled my joy. A flash of plain fear was going out of his eyes, but returned when Jill and Jem wriggled into the light. When I glanced around,
Wait, Khushi. So Jem shrieked and tried to catch me. So Jem obviously was not prepared that this one would go and break from him and go to Atticus like that. So Jem shrieked, Jem shouted. He tried to catch her, but she had a lead on. She had already left them behind, him and Dell behind. So they couldn't catch her. she pushed her way through dark, smelly bodies. These were the smelly, dark bodies of these men who had come, and burst into the circle of light. Burst into the circle of light means she suddenly landed inside in the middle of this group. She suddenly landed herself in the middle of this group of men, and she was standing in the center of this circle of light. This light was coming from the uh, single bulb which Atticus had put up on the jail door. And when she ran away from Jem and Dill, she pushed all these men and landed in the center of this light. Hey, Atticus. So she was very eager to meet her father. So she shouted, Hey, Atticus, I thought he would have a fine surprise. So this one scout thought that her father would be very pleasantly surprised to see her. He would be happy to see her, but his face killed my joy. But his expression drowned her happiness. Face killed my joy means that his facial expression, the facial expression of her father Atticus, killed all her happiness, drowned all her joy, took away her happiness, because naturally in this situation he was not happy. Atticus was not happy at all to see his child. A flash of plain fear was going out of his eyes. So he was afraid. This fear was there in his eyes, that why had the daughter come here in this situation, but returned when Dill and Jem wriggled into the light. But when he saw that Dill and Jem were also there apart from Scout, this fear also returned to his eyes. Wriggled means they crawled into the light along with Scout. Now Dill and Jem were also there. Yes, Khushi.
When I glanced around, I discovered that these men were strangers. They were not the people I saw last night. Hot embarrassment shot through me. I had leaped triumphantly into a ring of people I had never seen before.
Okay, stop. So when I glanced around, so when Scout looked around, she saw that these men who were forming a circle around her father were all strangers. They were not the people whom she had seen last night. Last night also she must have encountered some people. So these were not the same people. They were all strangers. Hot embarrassment means awkwardness. Awkwardness ran through her. She was self-conscious. She became very self-conscious that she had made a mistake. She had leaped triumphantly. Leaped triumphantly means jumped joyfully, jumped victoriously into a ring of people she had never seen before. So she was full of embarrassment, awkwardness, self-consciousness when she saw that she had landed herself among a group of people who were all strangers. Okay.